On today's show, Draymond Green goes off on everybody. Joel Embiid trolls the Sixers again, or is he? And more craziness in the NBA. We'll talk about that and more today. It's Locked On NBA. Let's go.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the NBA. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of the Locked On Mavericks podcast. Thanks for being part of the show, making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. Be an everydayer. Subscribe and follow for free. Just search Locked On NBA wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube, where the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day and to comment anything below. Let us know how out of line is Draymond Green. You can follow along with some of our questions on here. And joining me, as always, on a Thursday, host of Locked On Bulls. What you got for me, Pat the Designer?
When Kevin Garnett's the guy who's bringing peace to the timeline, you know that it's wild out here.
Real Kevin Garnett or fake Kevin Garnett?
Whichever one is more angry.
The answer is both. They're both angry. They're both more angry. They are Mark Ruffalo at the end of Avengers 1. Oh, I'm always angry.
I'm always angry.
On today's show, we're going to try something different. We usually do a segment at the end of every Thursday show where we count it up. We count out the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. There's not any real huge stories going on right now that the guys didn't cover yesterday or the day before that or that. And so we're going to count it up the entire show today. We're going to count it up for all the shows. We're going to go through some of those interesting, fun things in the NBA, including we'll talk about Joel Embiid or Troel Embiid trolling the Sixers, or maybe is he going to change? Is he going to go win a championship with somebody else? Evan Fournier goes off on your boy Tibbs. We've got another Tibbs reference on Locked On NBA Thursdays. Mitch Kupchak thinks the Hornets can be a playoff team. Dennis Schroeder called out Maxi Kleber on the German national team. Grant Williams versus Jayson Tatum. And some actual NBA news. The Thunder did sign Mark Daigneault to a contract extension, so we'll see if we get to that.
Why is Mark getting shafted? What's the thing? He can't get a segment?
He got an extension. His day is going fine. He doesn't need us to talk about him. But let's start here. Draymond Green had a week of just, hey, I signed my extension, 4 years, $100 million. I'm back with the Warriors, gold-blooded, all that. He's calling out everybody, and it starts with Jordan Poole, where he started by saying this.
I don't just hit people.
I don't just hit people. Dialogue, of course, happens over time. You're not just triggered by something that fast. We know that you don't. We know stuff that you don't say amongst men. This was the start of his rehashing the beef with Jordan Poole and with Draymond Green. He said this on the Patrick Beverley podcast. He said a bunch of things on the Patrick Beverley podcast, but. What are your thoughts on Draymond Green saying, I
don't just hit people?
Here's the thing. One, I do agree with him. I think that more happened throughout the time because of, I don't care what nobody says. Go back and watch that punch. You just watch the rest of the Warriors team be like, I saw it. I know
it finally happened. Like, oh, gee, watch it finally.
But the best part about that interview, I don't care what anybody says. When he says, I don't just hit people. If y'all want to see what Chicago is, watch Patrick Beverley just go, right. That was the epitome. So much was said in that one word. It's the right with the look off. Like Pat Bev said so much with that right there, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was my favorite part. Listen, Draymond was kind of leaving everybody alone, and then all of a sudden, Pat Bev, you knew he was going to go to this, and I love it personally because to me, the funniest part of all of this is I'm still kind of on Draymond's side in this because sometimes people need to get reminded that like you can't just say what you want and continue through your life. I'm sorry. That's not how the real world works. And how every other Warriors player on that team reacted tells me that's what Jordan Poole was doing. Just like, hey, man, I'm better than you because I make more money. And everybody else like, you gonna get hit.
And we got a conclusion to this. Jordan Poole's on a different team now. We don't need to rehash this over and over again. And yet Draymond Green is bringing this back up or being asked about it and talking about it and going and like extending the story, furthering the story going along, talking about, we know that there's stuff you don't say amongst men. I don't just get triggered just by my teammate saying something, it will take a long time. Basically, just keep, like, he continues to throw Jordan Poole under the bus and drive the bus. And then, he gets Kevin Durant to drive the bus and to drive it over Jordan Poole as the bus driver. And he keeps bringing it up. But Jordan Poole's dad took it a step further with this beef. Anthony Poole on Twitter responded to this clip and said, "I'm stand on this. That's it. That's some BS. JP was his guy, and he avoided me all last year. He is a soft B, and I'm standing on this, and he didn't apologize to me and my wife, so he lame, and me and him can meet anytime he want." On a scale of 0 to 5 caps, how far is Jordan Poole's dad going with this?
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we know that the one guy who's not the B is the one that knocked out your son. I'm just saying. Listen, nobody's running up on it. And listen, I don't know how big Anthony Poole. I mean, Jordan Poole's not small, so maybe Tony Poole's pretty big.
Jordan Poole, his picture is there, and I looked it up because I was like, maybe he's like Jokic's brother. Maybe he's like massive. Yeah. He's the same height as Jordan Poole. So what? He's like 6'4", 6'5".
He's 5. Okay,
and he's a big dude. He's a big dude, but I think Draymond would be okay.
I mean, here's the thing. Nobody's going to fight anybody. This is the thing. I just went through an interesting situation that's fairly similar to this. When people go low, sometimes you just got to go high. And this is a situation where they go in low and Anthony Poole is trying to go down the hill with him. And it's like Draymond's not going to sit here and meet you in a dark alley and you guys are going to throw hands on this and that's how it's going to finish out. It's not going to be the case. Enjoy your son's time in Washington. They'll find some models to put on the sideline for him or something like that. Who's from Washington for him to look at so he can start putting up 50. I don't know.
The VP, right? Isn't that the new joke?
That's all he's got. Yeah, I mean, that's what this is going to end up being. And you knew they weren't going to be able to coexist any further. And guess what? They went with the guy who's been there for 4 championships instead of the guy that's been there for 1.
Yeah. And that it seemed like everybody at a certain point was fed up with. And they just said, hey, let's just get off this guy. Let's bring in Chris Paul, who then we'll talk about here in a second. But Draymond responded to Anthony Poole and said, "That's so cute. It's impossible to avoid you in an arena for a year, champ. I got to get my family from that family room every game and stop using those words that usually don't go over well amongst men." What are your thoughts on the amongst men from Draymond Green? It seems like it's his new word now that he's decided to use.
Here's the thing about, I will say this. We gotta start doing this in the NBA, right? There's always
amongst podcasters.
There's always this stigma that, and it is true, right? You don't call nobody outside their name. There's certain words that don't go over well amongst men, but in these arenas, Draymond Green calls people a B. LeBron James has called people Bs. All these guys that
Tony Brothers has called Spencer Dinwiddie that.
Yeah, all these guys. Well, you got to watch out for Tony Brothers out here. All these guys that get so upset by these words are also the guys that are using these words, and we've seen it on camera. You can't hide. I don't know if y'all know this, but we're watching basketball games in 4K. We basically are sitting next to you on the court at this point. So the whole as a man, I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but I've also seen you use those words towards players on the court. So there's 5 caps on both sides here.
Are we done with this? Are we done with the Jordan Poole, Draymond Green thing? I think it'll keep getting brought up. It'll get brought up the first game that the Warriors play against the Wizards. It'll keep happening. There will be something will happen between them on the court when the Warriors played the Wizards at a certain point. I don't think we're done with it. It's just going to keep getting brought up. And it also brings us to this point where we can look back at some of these and say, well, did that ruin the Warriors' chemistry? Yeah, I think so. We can look back at the Kevin Durant moment with Draymond Green and say, did this moment mess with their chemistry? Yes. So now we're at this point with Draymond Green where my one point, I guess, in all of the Jordan Poole stuff, and then we'll talk about the Chris Paul and the KG stuff later, is that now if something happens with Draymond Green and a teammate, we can now look at multiple precedents now of if an incident happens with Draymond and a teammate, it's going to mess with the Warriors. And the Warriors decided that they're okay with that, and they're bringing him back, and they kind of didn't have a choice, and now here we are with that.
Well, I mean, they've won a championship and gone to a Western Conference Finals after every time that he like pisses off the teammate that everybody's like, you gotta pick Drake, you gotta pick him over Draymond, right?
So if that works, it works.
It works for him. That's what it is at the end of the day.
And so coming up, let's talk about the other beefs Draymond Green had. We'll talk about his beef with Chris Paul, his beef with fake Kevin Garnett, and then real Kevin Garnett, and we'll talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about FanDuel. FanDuel is America's number one sportsbook in our heart. Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel. Get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Go check it out on FanDuel, FanDuel.com/lockdown. They have all kinds of stuff. Last week, Pat and I did a whole bunch of FanDuel odds about the playoffs, about the MVP, about Rookie of the Year, and all kinds of things like that. Looks like they have regular season wins. They have wins totals now. Pat's Chicago Bulls over under 36.5. My Dallas Mavericks still not on the. Oh, here they are on the board lower, which is weird. 44.5 for the Dallas Mavericks. They don't have them in alphabetical order. I was expecting that. So you can go check out that, and you can use the no sweat first bet on that as well. Check out and you can get $200. If you just bet $20, you can get 10 times your money back. FanDuel.com/lockedon. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA, being part of this show, listening every day, being an everydayer. We have a Locked On NBA show that covers your team every day. I cover Locked On Mavericks. Pat does Locked On Bulls with Hayes. And we have one for your favorite team as well. Check the link in the description below. But Pat, we're continuing our Count It Up, where we count out the most interesting, funny, weird stories in the NBA, including Draymond Green, who, I
don't just hit people.
He doesn't just hit people. He does other stuff, too. He also said on the Pat Beverly podcast about his new teammate, Chris Paul. I've said publicly, I didn't like Chris Paul. I'm just not going to be like, oh, man, that changed now that he's my teammate. No, I look forward to talking, again, amongst men. I look forward to working with an adult. Is this Chris Paul and Draymond Green teammate experience ruined from the start?
I don't know if it's ruined from the start. I think that it'll be very much like, listen, the reason that the Warriors lost last season isn't because Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole in the face. The reason they lost because they couldn't win a road game. And guess what? They
get rebounds
on throughout the playoffs. They couldn't win road games the entire time. I think that at the end of the day, sometimes it is a job for these guys, and they can come in and they can work together on a basketball court. That doesn't mean that they're the best of friends. Heck, one of the greatest examples is Dennis Rodman talking about his relationship with Jordan and Pippen. They won 3 championships together. Dennis said, we never talked to each other after practice. We never talked to each other after the game. There was nothing to say. We went to work. We got the job done. Sometimes that really is just the case. I don't think that the relationship or whatever that needs to be is going to be an issue, because at the end of the day, Steph is still here, Clay is still here, Dre is still here. That's the relationship that needs to be on point, while adding in a guy like Andrew Wiggins, Chris Paul to me is coming here to make the bench players that you weren't able to utilize better. That's his role to me on this team.
You coaching?
I want to see Chris Paul make Jonathan Kuminga playable. That's all I want to see. I just want to know that Jonathan Kuminga, every time he gets on the court, this guy can play basketball. Steve Kerr's like, I hate him. We can't put him out there. Why? Why? It doesn't make sense. So I think that there's kind of, not to say there's going to be a separation, but I think Chris Paul's role is kind of defined on this team already. And as a professional, he'll be able to execute it.
On the court, I don't think this necessarily matters. I do agree with Draymond in that, hey, I look forward to working with an adult. I think Chris Paul will be that. Chris Paul's had beefs with everybody, and he's played with almost everybody now. So he's made it work with everybody that probably had a problem with him at some point in his career. But the thing that I'm interested in is how this will affect Warriors fans accepting Chris Paul as part of their team. I think they will eventually. It's what fans do. They eventually accept the player onto their team, but if there's just like an us and them, and Chris Paul has already shown signs of like aging, and the Suns fans were kind of turning on him last year because of, his play, especially his play in the playoffs and things like that. That's why they were not sad to see him go in this offseason. And so I'm curious what the relationship is going to be like if Draymond's already saying, I didn't like him. Warriors fans don't like Chris Paul either. And if Draymond's like, well, I'm not backing down and just changing my mind, then I wonder if that's going to change it. And you can go listen to Locked On Warriors and see if Cyrus has changed his mind about him or not yet.
Think about this. This is the first time in Chris Paul's life that he's not being relied on. Like, he's got to come in and produce. But if Chris Paul goes out in the playoffs, it's still Steph, Dre, and Clay.
I think that the Booker KD Warrior or Booker KD Suns was that for him.
Well, he didn't play much. What did he play?
He wasn't relied on, which was to your point. I mean, we just saw this.
I'm saying, like, wasn't he? I don't think that dynamic of that team played much together at all because of how much he was injured the entire time. Like, when KD got there, how much did they play together? Because KD ended up being hurt pretty much right away.
Yeah, but they never lost a regular. Don't ask a Suns fan. They never lost a regular season game with Kevin.
Never
lost. Like all seven of them. No, we got to get to the other. So the Chris Paul thing was another beef. And then the fake NBA Centrel quote that came out about Kevin Garnett.
Centrel.
NBA,
you know my cousin.
Not NBA Youngboy, NBA Centrel. NBA Centel, which is the fake NBA Central account that is also a fake NBA account, posted this fake KG quote. Draymond punching Jordan Poole is like a senior punching a freshman who is half his size and then walking around talking himself up like he's that. Come try me, Dre. The real Draymond Green then quote tweeted this NBA Centel account and said, I tried you when I was a rookie, KG, while you started talking to yourself like I wasn't talking to you. What's that like? The freshman picking a senior citizen that's double his size? KG immediately notices that it's a fake NBA Central account and said, that's a fake tweet at Elon Musk. See what the F is happening with this. Why is Draymond Green just like coming up with beefs on everybody here? Even a fake KG quote.
Nick, it's the off season, even for Draymond Green. There's got to be content when you got a podcast, bruh.
Who are you telling this to?
There's got to be enough content. You know what I mean? I think here's the thing, though. Here's what that tells you. There probably is and was when he played a beef with KG. Yeah, I mean, like, Draymond's that guy. He is the next Kevin Garnett. He is the next name, Charles Barkley. Like, the beef is a mental game for him. It's okay, this is how I get hyped about it. You think he's not competing with guys who aren't competing on an NBA floor? Now he's in talk space areas. That's just going to carry over. These are things that are going to stick around. This is sports entertainment at the end of the day. And for me, I love the fact that he was ready to go. Maybe, here's the thing, though. I will say this, and I'll give Draymond Green credit for one thing. He is somebody who kind of learns from his mistakes in the media world. Welcome to the art of getting catfished by a tweet. Got to make sure that you know and you read what those ats are, because we've all had that tweet that came out from Adam Schefter, and we're like, oh, that's the one. Adrian Wojnarowski. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, we got DeMar DeRozan to the Dallas Mavericks. Oh boy, here we go.
At Woj ASPN.
You know what I mean? Like, we've all been there. So what?
Ari Abraham dropping dimes 20. We've dropping dimes 50. We've all been
dropping that. No, don't you dare disrespect dropping dimes. Dropping dimes. He's falling off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's falling off a little bit. Dropping dimes early on was so on point, we thought it was Nick.
Oh, all right. Of the Draymond beefs,
count it up.
What's the beefiest current Draymond beef? Draymond and the Poole family, Draymond and Chris Paul, Draymond and fake and real KG. What's the beefiest one?
I'm not answering that question. That sounds crazy. What's the beefiest one? What are we doing here, dog? What is Grady Dick on the team? Anyway, but I think that
what's the most legitimate one? Let's do it that way.
What's the most legitimate beef? Probably the Chris Paul one, because I think that has real ramifications. Jordan Poole, I mean, like, listen, the Jordan Poole beef is in Jordan Poole's court. At this point, he's got to fight him, right? Like, there's got to be There's got to be an on-court fight, right? Like, and at the end of the day, that helps, right? Like, he takes a major piece away from the Warriors. There might be a strategy in that for Jordan Poole, like, oh, trade me, will you? Yeah, I mean, like, you got to do something. But I think the Chris Paul one may be the one that has the most legs because it's the one that has the potential to possibly hurt the team.
It's the only one he's going to run into more than twice a year. He's only going to play Jordan Poole twice next year. KG has no, like, I don't know if does his show travel? I don't think so. Like, but he'll probably end up on his.
Remember they were in Vegas and Paul Pierce was trying to promote the girlfriend for the day. I can give you a card. I can give you a card and you can have it. What's happening, Paul?
He'll probably end up on KG's show. The Chris Paul one seems to be at least the most like legitimate that it has a chance to change the NBA season. All right, coming up, let's talk about Joel Embiid. I got a bunch of other stuff too. We'll do rapid fire coming up. All right, Pat, we've got a ton more to get into today. We're doing Count It Up, the whole show where we count out the most interesting, fun things in the NBA, including Joel Embiid in an interview with Maverick Carter on a stage in front of real people said, quote, "I just want to win a championship, whatever it takes. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's Philly or anywhere else that's going to be. It's not easy, but every single day I work towards it." Joel Embiid then changed his middle name on Twitter to Troel, and tweeted, "I've lost my place as the best troll here, though," and it went to Daryl Morey. My question is, count it up. On a scale of 0 to 5 caps, how much was Joel Embiid actually trolling the Sixers, or you think he's considering leaving?
I think he's considering leaving. And here's the reason why. Because there's how many situations is Joel going to have to go through where you just look at the front office and you say, can I get some consistent help that's going to want to be here? Like, how many times right? Like the one guy that I guess that they wanted to keep around and they sided with Ben, Joel wanted Jimmy. Think about that. I wanted Jimmy. I literally publicly said, I want Jimmy Butler. You got me James Harden and you got me Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. And guess what? Jimmy Butler's been to the NBA Finals twice since then. I wanted Jimmy. And so I think that there was always this, okay, we got rid of Jimmy. We're going to move past that. We're going to get to a point where we're back in the ECF consistently. We're going to get the right coaches in place, blah, blah, blah. And that just hasn't materialized. So I think that Joel Embiid is speaking from a place of honesty when he says, listen, at the end of the day, I want to win and I don't care where that happens.
I think he's starting to see a future without the Sixers, right? And when you start thinking that, you start looking, hey, it could be here, could be somewhere else. I don't know what that's going to be, whether it's Philly or anywhere else. It's literally what he said. He's starting to see, because he was the Sixers' son, right? You talk about the process Sixers. You talk about these, this young Sixers team, even going back to, it was him, and then, they brought in Okafor, they brought in Nerlens Noel, Ben Simmons, and then it was like, all right, we're all coming up together. It was Markelle Fultz. We're all coming up together, and I'm the guy. And this is my city, and I love this place. And now he's starting to think, man, we're just going to keep running this through over and over again. Look at what happened with Jimmy. He goes to Miami, and Jimmy looks super happy. Look at what happened with KD. He got his way 3 different times now. It's like leaving places. LeBron got his way several different times, going back to Cleveland, then going to the Lakers and getting his way and being happy in the place where he is. And I think he's trying to find that. And he's starting to now think that maybe that won't be in Philadelphia. Think about all the things he's gone through. This popped in my head when you were talking about the front office upheaval and everything. Remember Brian Colangelo? Remember his collar? Remember his burners? Remember all that stuff? Like that, so many things. So many things has Joel Embiid gone through in his career. The Ben Simmons saga, the Jimmy Butler thing, the Markelle Fultz situation. Remember Markelle Fultz couldn't shoot?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden he gets drafted. Remember, there's just been so many weird things in Embiid's career, and then they keep getting knocked out in the second round. They've been knocked out in the second round every year except for that one year they got swept. It just, when is it going to end? And so I'm saying that this is 4 caps for me. That I think he's not trolling. Like I'm calling him on it. That he was actually thinking about it, slipped, and tried to cover it as a troll.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's the weirdest part about all of it is that even coming into this season, remember, James Harden's probably getting moved in some way, shape, or form.
Maybe
The Sixers aren't getting better. Like
there's
nothing that we've heard about where we're like, yeah, that makes them a better basketball team. Like, they're not going to get better. They're literally just going to lose another asset that you were like, well, I mean, he could put up 20. Like, I don't love it, but he can put up 20.
20 and 10. I mean, he was 20 and 10 last year. He led the league in assists. All right. I think we have time for like one or two more. Do you want Fournier on Thibodeau? Mitch Kupchak on the Hornets making the playoffs? Dennis Schroeder on Maxi Kleber? Grant Williams on Jayson Tatum?
Let's go Grant Williams on Jayson Tatum for 1,000 there, Nick.
Grant Williams is now playing against Jayson Tatum. Grant Williams on the Dallas Mavericks. Jayson Tatum still on the Boston Celtics. It's still only 19. Grant Williams said, I'm gonna bust your ass when we play Dallas. Tatum told Grant at dinner last week, and then Grant Williams said, you think you can't go left? I'm gonna be physical with you. You're gonna go cry to the referees. And Grant said he'll miss these interactions the most with Jayson Tatum. Whose side are you on in this one? Grant Williams or Jayson Tatum? Count it up.
This is insane to say. Give me Grant.
Whoa!
Listen, hear me out. Boston, you know this. You could be as upset.
Can't go left.
He can't. We watched it.
We're talking about Jayson Tatum, not Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, same. I implore y'all to go back, and I did this. I implore y'all to go back and watch the last 3 games of that Miami versus Boston series and look how stark the difference is in him going to the right. When he goes to the right, he's unstoppable. He literally is. Like Jimmy Butler literally had no answers when he was guarding him. There was nobody on the Heat that had any chance slowing him down when he got to go right. When he went left, it was such a completely different story, both guys. And I think that's why Boston has so many deficiencies with it. Can Kristaps Porzingis go left? Do they have 3 guys that
can't go left? Go left doing what?
He just goes left. He doesn't do anything with it. He just goes left. No, I just like
he's like Zoolander. He can't even make a left turn. He's got to do 3 rights.
Now here's the problem. I agree with Grant Williams, and so I'm siding with him in this aspect. The problem is with the Miami Heat, it was he can't go left because there was also backside help that was causing issues when Tatum went left that was forcing turnovers. You cover the Mavericks. There's not a lot of backside defensive help on that team.
Unless Derek Lively is really good from day one, you are correct. Yeah, that's not going to happen. There's not backside help there at all.
Tatum might still be right in the end, but he won't be doing it going left.
Yeah, give me Jayson Tatum in this one. Give me the guy that averaged 30 points a game last year. I'll take that guy if he can't go right or not. But I'm loving. Right. But if you can score 30 points a game just going right in the end, hey, all the power to you.
You're pretty
good. It's a pretty good right. Oh, man. Incredible. Let's actually talk about the OKC Thunder. They signed Mark Daigneault to a contract extension today, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. My question is just simply, how bright is the Thunder's future?
I like this signing. I thought that this was an excellent signing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that he's really gotten the most out of what this team can be. And he's really, I mean, like he's impressed me with how he's developed some of these guys, how Lou Dort's game has been able to develop, how he's put them in a position to be really, really successful. I remember, what was it? He got hired 2 years ago, I believe. Yeah, because we got Billy Donovan. He got hired, when he came in, everybody did the same thing. Who?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody did the same thing, but he's done a really good job with his OKC team. I mean, you look at a guy like Shea being on that team, and it's only because it's the Thunder and they were probably the 4th or 5th storyline out west. Shea played well enough to be an MVP conversation. He played well enough to be an MVP candidate. And I think that there's a lot of people that would argue with you that he was a better MVP candidate than Joel Embiid was. He just didn't have the same storyline based on his play. But I think that he's done a good job, and that is a contract that he definitely absolutely earned.
Daigneault just finished his 3rd season with the Thunder, And they went 40-42. They made the play-in last year over the Dallas Mavericks, which Grant Williams hopes that he can fix. But this is the one team that this is like one team that we've seen in the last couple of years do the two timelines thing, kind of. And like, all right, we're going to try to be good and also develop our guys at the same time. Now, they didn't have the amount of vets that a Warriors team or somebody like that, but they were able to still be good and develop at the same time. That's so hard to do. Every time the Bulls played, and every time the Mavs played the Thunder, you had a team that looked organized, that were playing good defense, that were out there going, dang, why can't the Mavs go out there and play defense like that? They are undersized, and they have these guys that are young and all that. And then the excuses that are made for young players on other teams, that excuses that are made for young players, on the Mavericks and other teams, they're not made for the Thunder players. The Thunder players go out there and they're expected to go out there and win. That's what has made SGA really good, I think. Josh Giddey's only 21, and he's out there playing crunch time minutes in play-in games. You have like Jalen Williams was incredible last year when wing Jalen Williams was playing for them, and he went out and he destroyed the summer league, and you see how good he is. Like, they've just nailed some of this. Their rebuild has been so good. They've got a ton of assets going forward, and I think Daigneault has done a really good job in there. So there's a situation where, like, there's a scenario, a multiverse out there where it's like a Steven Silas type or somebody else that is a Luke Walton type that comes in with this team, and they're still bad last year, and that didn't happen. And I think some of it has to go to coaching, and I think that he did a great job coaching. So this is a great extension. I'm excited for it. Excited for what the future brings for the Thunder, and happy that we got through this Locked On NBA, and we didn't say anything to get fired. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA, and join us tomorrow. We have Tony East and we have Hayes from Locked On Bulls breaking down some more NBA stuff. Guys, thanks so much for listening to us on Locked On NBA.
Bye-bye.
Boom!